Does lowering the PSI on tires a little help get better quarter mile times? Yes, it can.
It can. It doesn't mean you're going to get better quarter mile times. It actually will typically slow you down, trap speed wise.
Yeah.
But if it lets you get out of the hole quicker and have some better traction off the line, you usually end up with a better ET.
Yeah. So what happens is, let's say you go to do a launch and you have a lot of yes, you have 50, 60 psi in your tire. It results in a very hard tire, and your contact patch. The more air pressure you put in the tire, the more round it becomes, and as far as like across the tread of the tire. Um, so if you've ever seen a tire with not enough air in it, a lot of times it will cup inwards towards the rim, and then when it has the right air pressure, it's flat. And then if it gets too much air pressure, it starts to bow out. So what happens is the contact patch shrinks, but also the tire becomes much less compliant. In other words, the tire won't change shape when force is acted on it, and so that results in more wheel spin because there's less tire on the road, and that tire is less compliant to the road surface, so it doesn't grip as well. Now, if you start lowering your pressure, at some point you could achieve kind of an optimum ratio between rolling resistance and grip. Now, the problem is as you lower air pressure in the tire, it becomes harder to roll. You want to test this. Take all the air out of your tires and try to push your car. It basically won't move. And then you could put like 5 psi in the tires and try to push it. It'll be a little bit easier, but still be extremely hard to move. Go put 50 psi in the tires, and it will be increasingly easier to move the more pressure is in the tire. So a tire rolls easier when it has more pressure, but then it has less grip or traction. So if you can lower your air pressure to say 15 to 20 psi, somewhere in that range, you'll still have a tire that can roll, although with more resistance, but you'll get potentially more grip. Now these are all, we're speaking general rules of thumb. But all the guys you see going fast, or the people going fast, generally on street tires, they're lowering the pressure in their tires.
Yep.
And you want to see an extreme version of this, look at a dedicated drag racing tire. They're often referred to as wrinkle slicks. And these are designed to have very low pressure, and they have a very compliant sidewall. And so if you look at a video of these cars launching, you will actually see the car launch. You'll see the hub start rotating, and the what they're called wrinkle slicks is the sidewalls actually start wrinkling as the hub and rim inside the tire twist while the outside of the tire is still sitting there. Eventually, the outside of the tire starts spinning, and because of that soft compliance in the tire, it has an incredible amount of grip. I'm trying to think of a practical real world example, but I mean it's I don't know, it's kind of like if you imagine like a rock climbing shoe. That rubber has to kind of conform and comply to the rock surface to have grip. If it's too hard, like if it's plastic, and it has no grip because the contact surface is so small. So that's what happens when you lower the air pressure in your tires. You got to be careful because most road tires are not designed to operate below a certain psi. People lower the pressure in these despite that. Um, the tire could debead from the rim. It could fail. The inside steel belts or nylon belts may fail prematurely. It could greatly reduce the life of the tire. You could die. So don't
Right.
do it because we told you to
Yeah,
do it.
lots of caveats when playing
So
these.
I didn't tell you to lower your air pressure in your tires, so don't do it. But if you do, everything I just said could apply.
From a physics standpoint,
Yeah.
that's kind of how things work.
And you know, like I said, a lot of people are doing it out there, but you do have to be cautious. If you lower your pressure to 5 psi, you're going to have a serious problem. So I think you can Google and read about it too out
Yep.
there.